Yep. Okay. So next is Gordon. Gordon, what's up, buddy? He says, "Hey guys, thank you very much again for the help you provide. You're welcome." He said last week's session was cut very short by a storm, so I'm posting my question again. Okay, thank you, because otherwise it would have gotten missed. Gordon. He says, if you've already gone back and covered last week's missed questions, please just ignore this. No, and I have not. You mentioned previously that it was not a good idea to use a keyword match domain for a local business site, but if you use something like toplocalplumber.com, where toplocalplumber is not a keyword you intend on targeting, um, where you intend to target, excuse me, will you still run the risk of a Google penalty when you optimize the site for targeted plumber related keywords and the specific geolocation just because you have plumber in the domain name? No, because that's natural. That what I was talking about was an exact match. So a lot of the times, you can use a partial match keyword because a lot of times the service will be part of the brand name, right? Like Joe's Plumbing, for example, right? Plumbing is part of his name. But what I'm talking about is not using exact match keywords. If you want to rank for, I use this example all the time, but plumbing Fairfax, VA, or plumber Fairfax, VA, like if you had that exact match domain, that's what's real can cause the filters, right, to be a bit more sensitive. That can cause panda type penalties, really over optimization penalties, and that's because it essentially you've already got you're putting up red flags saying that you're already a an SEO. In other words, you're starting off with everything that the bots look at from that point forward. From the moment that they come to scan your domain, it's through the lens of it's like an SEO slanted lens, right? Because it knows that it's an exact match keyword, and so it just makes you run the risk of all of the additional optimization that you're doing of over optimizing, right? But a partial match isn't quite the same because, like I said, a lot of times brand names will have a partial match keyword as part of the brand name, and that makes perfect sense to do so. Whether you're adding like a city, like the location as a partial match, or a product or service, especially for local, then it doesn't really matter as long as you're not just combining the two, is my point. So, again, now if you already have plumber in the domain name, then you just keep that in mind when you're creating like your URL structures and things like that, especially if you're siloing your site, which you probably should. I recommend going with the virtual silo now as opposed to the physical silo. We've talked about that in the past. A physical silo is the category / post name permalink structure in WordPress, where you literally see the silo structure or the hierarchy of the categories within the URL, right? That's really unnecessary. I used to build all of my sites that way because I liked seeing that hierarchy in the URL. But now you can actually, it's better off, in my opinion, to have a shorter URL. So if you just go with the post name permalink structure, then you can avoid having, multiple occurrences of the keyword within the URL, which can cause issues too. So just keep all of that in mind. But no, a short answer is you should be fine if you're just using a partial match keyword, and I say keyword, but it could be like a location in the domain as opposed to an actual keyword. Does that make sense? I've used this as an example, but like Home Pros could be a generic business name for general contractors or remodelers or deck builders or pretty much any sort of thing, home service type contractor. Home Pros could be a brand name. So you could put like the city name, like Fairfax Home Pros, right? Could be a potential name for any type of contractor that's in the home service industry. And so that would have the location modifier as a partial match keyword, right? But not the actual service. But you could have like, plumbing pros could be a plumber, so you could, in that case, you could say, Fairfax Plumbing Pros. Now, in that case, I would say that's a little bit too close to being over optimized. You see what I'm saying? So just try to find something that would be maybe a bit more vague or a less common type of term that is synonymous with what you're trying to promote, to make it to where it's not going to over optimize or trip an over optimization filter for everything else that you do on site. That's all I'm saying. Was that clear as mud or what?
No, that was clear.
Okay.
Be careful with over optimization. That's all.
Next
clear
question.
as mud, Bradley.
There's Hernan. You're tardy, man.
I'm sorry, dude. I completely lost track of time launching Facebook ads campaigns. I was in the vortex, so I do apologize.
So
Here.
what you're saying is Hump Day Hangouts isn't as important to you as it is.
No, not at
Oh, I
all.
see. That's all right. You'll be
I'm
punished.
sorry.
I think he's using code because Adam used to call it running in the woods.
Running in the woods. Yeah,
Right. For me, it's launching campaigns, right?
that's it.
Hot diggity.